So I just watched the Behind the Curve documentary on Netflix, and I highly recommend that you find that if you have Netflix and watch it. Um, it's a good, it's well done. Um, but spoiler alert: in the end of that movie, or by the end of the movie, the two main tenets of flat Earth are debunked. Um, the claim that the Earth, that there's no curve, and the claim that the Earth doesn't spin. And the interesting thing about this is that in both cases, this debunking is not done by globe heads. It's flat earthers. It's a flat earther that proves the Earth is spinning. Of course, he doesn't admit that. He does, kind of, in a way, make some comments that, this is bad. But immediately starts trying to find excuses. And then at the very end of the movie, Jeranism does an experiment which basically shows curvature. And his response is, that's interesting. That's very interesting. And the thing about this is, I would have thought that if I watched a movie like that and I watched these guys fail so epically, I would have thought that I would have been very, very gleeful, and it wasn't. The whole thing just kind of made me sad. This movie does a very, very good job of humanizing these people, um, which is a good thing. Lately in our society, a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to dehumanize those with whom they disagree, and that's not a good thing. It's a very, history shows it can be a very dangerous thing, actually. But, and I've done it. Started out my videos for the longest time with globe heads and flatards, until somebody made a comment that they just weren't comfortable with the tard uh, suffix on anything, and really did some soul searching about whether or not that was a good way to approach the matter. But um, wrong or not, these are people, and it's really, really sad to watch. Um, you watch Mark Sargent in this movie, and he's talking about the movie with Jim Carrey, where Jim Carrey's trapped inside a dome, um, and doesn't know it. The Truman Show, where he's the star of his own show, and um, something a lot of flat earthers like to do is compare the real world to movies, which I've never understood. Obviously, they know Hollywood is fake, but for some reason they find links to things like it's supposed to be like Hollywood's supposed to be secretly telling us something. But anyway, so Sargent's talking about this movie, and he's talking about, well, Truman, once he discovers it's fake, is going to walk away. But that's a lot harder for the mayor of the Truman Show's little town, because he's got a good life, and he's got more invested in this. And so they pointed out to Mark Sargent, well, aren't you basically the mayor of Flat Earth? And he was quiet for a while. He didn't say much for a while, but eventually he admitted that he couldn't leave the flat Earth if he wanted to, because people just wouldn't let him go. Um, that normal society, globe head society, probably would never really accept him back, and that he would lose everything he has in the flat earth, his kind of leadership position, his sort of celebrity status, and I'm sure he makes a lot of money off of his channels or whatever. But yeah, he basically admitted that he can never admit to the globe, which then tells you you have a quote unquote model that's not falsifiable, which means your search for the truth is over. Um, and I think I could see that in Jeranism too. Um, I hate to speak for him, but watching his reaction to all this, I think Jeranism and Jaron Campanella and Mark Sargent and several of these other people, I think they probably know that we live on a globe. Um, and that just makes me sad. But anyway, um, highly recommend you go watch the documentary. I think it's a really, really good watch. It's on Netflix. There's also a couple of other people who have watched the movie and done reviews that you'll find here on YouTube. So just search for, Behind the Curve review, and you'll find a few. But that's my thoughts on the movie. In the end, it really humanized these people for me, and it made me kind of feel sorry for them and feel bad, because I think a lot of them know that we live on a big, beautiful globe. But there's a lot of people selling snake oil out there. Have fun on YouTube, but don't fall for the snake oil salesman.